Truly Blue has just finished its first run. You must be very happy with the book. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Truly Blue is a book about the exploitation, really, of the vulnerable in the name of entertainment, which sounds really serious, but we have a lot of fun with it as well. And it was born of a bigger project, which is about how fame and fortune and wealth and social status can affect people for good and entire nations for good in the same way as it has with Live Aid, but it can also affect people in a negative way. Truly Blue is set in a historical setting in 60s London, where the band is making it big, just as R&B, jazz is being usurped by R&B and then onto rock and roll. The band are rubbing shoulders with the Rolling Stones and The Who and major stars of the day. But their lead singer, fundamentally, is psychologically dysfunctional in a way that wasn't really understood then. We have a greater understanding of such conditions now, but in those days, obviously, rock and roll didn't have that kind of history that it has now either. And such people were really good press and really good PR for the bands, but in the end, it ended up a lot of them costing them their lives.
Is your writing, your style of writing, is it informed by anybody or similar to anything, would you say?
I think the closest cousin, if you like, when I was writing this, I actually wrote it because I thought this story hadn't been written before and I wasn't interested in rewriting somebody else's story. I think the closest cousin, if you like, would be Ray Connolly's Stardust, but you're now talking about something that was from about 1973, and also Jim McLean, the lead character from there. It was much more straightforward story because it was just how that could affect a normal person and what that would do to him. I was more focusing on people like Brian Jones and Keith Moon and Syd Barrett and people from the 60s like that, who I perceive as being vulnerable in the first place.
Is it interesting that you have this tone of the book regarding wealth and money, as you're saying, and has the book got a certain resonance, even more so now in the middle of a recession?
I guess so, because I would imagine things like, people are looking towards the lottery as being more of a way out of, the troubles that they're in, and seeing money more as a cure-all for everything. And it can be a great help for a lot of things. But I think sometimes, we forget that it, if you like, comes at its own price and can have its own problems.
Does it now feel like the writing has been the easy part? Do you have to sort of wear lots of hats now when you're in promoting a book, so to speak?
Absolutely, and I certainly didn't realise. Somebody told me this when I was writing it, and I found a publisher, and I thought, right, okay, that's the end of what I've got to do now. I can get on and write the next novel. In fact, it's not like that at all. I mean, I've been published by a very small Welsh press, Leaf Books, and they are brilliant. But with the best will in the world, if I want to get Truly Blue out in the public arena, I have to do it. Fortunately, I used to work for a sales company for a short while back, so I'm quite happy to go and knock on doors and say, you really need... And I'm getting now good reviews for the books. So it's not just what I'm saying, so it's actually becoming easier and easier to sell.
What's your writing process? Are you a 9-to-5 writer or a nighttime writer?
I'm a nighttime writer, most definitely. I don't write anything at all in the mornings, nothing at all. I'm more working on a continental basis. Well, actually, because I do supply teaching as well. If I'm not actually teaching, I will sleep all afternoon and go and pick the kids up from school. And then I can start writing at about 9 or 10 o'clock, and between 10 and 2 in the morning is when, I might as well write then, because if I was to try to go to bed, if you like, it sounds a bit schizophrenic, but your characters will come and bug you at that time and say what they want to say, so you might as well get up and write it anyway. That's how it is for me.
So what's next?
Right, what's next? Several things. I intend to finish the project from which Truly Blue came, which is the Fame and Fortune, a survival guide, which I call So What, which is studying wealth and fame. I've just finished a another novel which is about the responsibilities of us towards people who love us, which is not chick lit at all. And I'm also just beginning to write my mother's story biography. My mother was one of the original Right to Die campaigners, and locally, and she died about 12 years ago amid a sort of huge media publicity campaign, and I haven't felt ready to write the story up until now, and I'm just putting it together now.